Good morning, guys. It's Tuesday. No, it's not. It's Wednesday, the 2nd of May, 2018. And this is the DAX morning briefing. We had a day off yesterday as the DAX and Eurex was closed. And this morning, we've kicked off pretty much straight away with a gap higher and we've broken through a major swing high. So pretty interested with this at the moment because we were originally a little bit concerned with the way that the swings were working here because we were starting to form simple series of higher highs, higher lows, as you'd want to see. This was a failure to really make any progress through that previous swing. I think it was a very, very close pierce through the high of the previous swing. But this low took out the last two previous swings. So that was starting to suggest that this was going to be a lower high and we were going to start to see a swing lower. But it hasn't happened because we've now just taken out that previous swing. So a little bit chaotic. It's quite difficult to really get a handle on what's going on, but pretty bullish, as I'm sure you'd agree. And this way may well prove to be a bit of an outlier, so we'll continue to watch. Now, this is a 20-minute chart that I've got here. And before I look into the strategy on this one, just a quick disclaimer. Trading financial markets is risky. It involves the risk of losing our invested money. We're not providing any financial advice here or recommendations. This is all for educational purposes only. So if you decide to enter a trade off the back of any information you find on this website or connected to it, then do so entirely at your own risk. Okay, now the good news is, certainly from myself and from the gold guys here, that we're long on dollar yen, which is a proxy for some indices. And so I'm quite pleased that one's doing really well. Also, we were short euro dollar and took about 120 pips off of that, or 100 odd pips off of that yesterday. And we took some money off of cable as well. So Forex has been doing really, really well, while Stacks has been a little bit chaotic. We've also completed the DAX Trader Indicator, which is available on the forum. So if you guys watching this video are premium already, you're able to access that. And if you wish, you can get all of those alerts on all of the markets to get it all set up. And it will provide you with the targets and take profit for the setups as well. So really, really excited to announce that that's ready to go. And of course, all the swing trading bits and pieces are happening as well. There's going to be about an 85 topic course that's going to be released. I've produced about 38 of the videos for that, and all the rest of them are going to be coming over the next few weeks. And programming and cryptos and all that sort of great stuff is happening as well. Okay, so first tool that I'm just going to use, in fact, probably the only tool I'm going to use on this particular chart, is just a very, very simple, regular Andrews pitchfork. And I'd probably use a different fork on this particular setup normally because it's actually a valley structure. But I'm just going to use this as an example. So we need 3 different pivots. It's not the best example of a fork, but the thing that I found interesting was how we've gapped above the median line here. So once you found a valid fork, and I would say probably this one is not the best example. That would have probably been a better example here, but that one's passed and gone now. Andrew said that there's normally an 80% chance that once you've got a valid fork, price will come down to hit the median line. And if it doesn't, then it generally tends to reverse the opposite direction. And so in this particular case, I don't even think it got down as far as the 50% line. Yeah, barely. Before turning around. But not only that, it tagged the upper median line parallel just there. And then it kind of started to trail down it, and the upper median line parallel was calling the tops of this particular move, and then zoom, it's just gapped through it, which I find really interesting. So that was on Monday, I think. And it then trailed down the other side of the upper median line parallel before gapping higher and shooting further this morning. So really the question remains as to whether or not this particular breakthrough, the previous major swing high here, is going to be a basic wash and rinse type pattern, which is where you've just simply got this kind of move like this, whether it's a simple wash of the highs, taking out all of this liquidity that's up here, because a lot of people might have already shorted. There are a lot of buy stops up here. So if a large trader wanted to get short, they would want to sell into this liquidity. There's a lot of buys up here. So they've got the opposite side of the trade over there, and then it will take it lower. Or whether or not this actually is just a continuation of the wider, larger bullish momentum that you can see on the 20. So we'll keep an eye on that. Now, if we just zoom in a little bit more and take a look at that's really quite a spike. If we just take a look at the 250 tick chart on this one, this is a CFD chart. So if it looks different to your futures one, then that's the reason why. And let's just take a look at that in a bit of detail. So what have we got here? Probably zoom out a little bit. And the similar structure to what I was looking at a moment ago, which was this one over here. I think I pulled a regular fork through that. But what I would normally do in this case, so I've just marked these pivots out. We're talking about these 3 pivots here. I'd normally do a modified shift fork on that particular structure because it's a valley. And what I want to see here is how it calls the tops and the bottoms of price action. And what I find interesting in particular is how the median line of this particular fork is calling the lows of price. And you'll notice that you've got that kind of clump, that coiling pattern here. So, think about it when you've got a spring, obviously how a spring works. If you press down on that spring, then it's going to create some sort of potential energy, isn't it? It's going to have it all kind of compressed and bunched up. And then when it releases, it's pretty clear that potential energy turns into kinetic energy and it moves. It's exactly the same in the market. You've got this kind of wide sort of swooping pattern, coils down into a compression spring, and then boom, off it goes. And so that's kind of what we're witnessing already today from this morning. You see it time and time again in the market. It's not just on the DAX, but on any market. So I did like that particular pattern. And I was also looking at the price action of this particular this market. So again, I'll just kind of map out the minor swings on this one rather than just looking at the specific majors. And I'm just going to draw the swing markers. I'll maybe miss out that little guy in the middle. It's fine. Just leave it on this one. I think it will still highlight. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting because you've got a series of higher highs and higher lows within this kind of bullish impulse leg here. Okay, the minor swings within that major swing, which are these ones. You've got this high. Now, normally what you'd expect to happen is you'd expect to see a retracement, which is what this was here. And then once that low is confirmed, let me just start that again. Once that low is formed, it will be confirmed once the previous high is taken out. Now, that didn't happen. And that was a fail up here. It tried to get up there. It tried to go and put that guy under pressure and move higher, but it failed a couple of times and sellers took over. Now, that was a clear win from sellers right there. As soon as that was a zoom through these mini lows here, that confirmed that there was a bit of a failure. And that highlights an area where behavior changed because there was a previous series of higher highs and higher lows, but now there isn't. And so there's a change in behavior, and that would be marked out as a potential swap zone. So you look for a reaction on the underside of it, which you get twice, and then it zooms straight back through it again. Excuse me, that was supposed to be an arrow. Zooms back through it again here. So I just find that area interesting. So you just mark those sorts of zones out on the chart. But lo and behold, once we get below that again and this coil starts to form, look where price finds support. So it's just interesting. And you see that kind of observation again and again on price action. Right. So that's kind of the main part for this morning was this shoot higher. And now the decision is to kind of just take a step back and just figure out what's going on with this, because there's no point jumping on this and buying it here. You can do that by all means, but see how that works out for you in the long run. But really, if you want to be long on this market, you want to be waiting for some of that initial reaction to just kind of relax and pull back a little bit. And if we wanted to get long, probably want to retest that swap zone, maybe retest the overside of some of these swings. So for example, 654 is a region that would be interesting, and so would 635, 620, somewhere in that zone. So kind of a retracement back towards that level, give back some of that initial exhilaration, if you like, of the market once it just shot through all of those levels. And then if you want to try and take a long, try and get in from a better price. So that's kind of really what I'm going to be watching out for. Are there any clues on here? Well, there you go. Okay, so we've taken out a previous significant exposed point of control. That's been on the chart for some time, and that's now gone. The really only other exposed POCs now are up here at 816. I don't think we're going to get there today, although I will happily eat my shorts if we do. It has happened in the past where we just get this relentless day after we've been consolidating. And the only other thing that I found interesting on this particular profile is from Monday, because we obviously weren't open yesterday. From Monday, we had a kind of a low volume area. It's not really a double distribution. It's more of a triple. But you can clearly see within the value area that there are two distinct high volume areas separated by this low volume area here. And often with these areas, you'll find that price will fill them, and it will create some action within that area and fill the gap out. It happened here, for example, with this guy, and it's happened here with this. So again, just find that interesting how it does that and it likes to form. And that area here was the spot that we talked about just a moment ago where that swap zone was. Excuse me. So as for today, not really a huge amount of information to take from this profile chart. We've already taken out the previous day's POC. We've already taken out the wider exposed POC. We've got a really thin looking day. So that is a prime candidate for an almost full retracement back down to value. So that would be a strategy that I might consider doing. Otherwise, I will just kind of allow this thing to run temporarily and then look for little minor swings to trade intraday. That is quite a clear minor impulse leg there. So I'll be looking for it to dig into that a little bit because I'm not going to give my opinion on that, but I'm just looking for it to dig into that maybe a little bit more before we can start mapping out a little bit of structure on this one. Okay, that is pretty much what I'm looking for. We've got a potential couple of signals that have come in here. I'm just going to go and vet those and see what is available. But if you want a bit more information on any of the service or anything that we're running or any of the indicators or any of the charts or anything like that, give us a chat on Telegram. Details are in the description below. Come and join the free the free Telegram channel, the broadcast channel. Just click the link on below. If you like what we're doing here, put a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and look forward to seeing you at another one another time. All right, guys, take care. Have a good trading day.